What's going on, War Report family? It's your boy C-Dub. There's some more transfer news. Auburn picks up a guy out of the portal for cornerback. Also, the offensive staff is complete. We will discuss that, what that means for Auburn's offense moving forward. And of course, Auburn basketball takes the court tonight against Vanderbilt. We'll preview that and more in tonight's edition of the Midweek Report. Wednesday, everyone. Welcome to the latest Midweek Report, brought to you by our newest show sponsor, Opelika Rage Room. It's just what it sounds like, guys. So, listen, you had a long day at work, people stressing you out. Some people go to the gym, but if you're in the Opelika area or the Birmingham area, you get to go to the Rage Room and break stuff, all right? Usually you end up breaking your own stuff in your house, but you get to break their stuff, right? And you don't even get in trouble for it, all right? So please go and visit them, birminghamrageroom.com, opelika-rageroom.com to schedule book an online session to go over there, or book online to set up a session to go and break some stuff and relieve some stress. We definitely want to show some love to Opelika Rage Room for being a show sponsor. Appreciate them for being there with us. Also, guys, share this video, smash that like button, and subscribe for those of you who are new to our channel. Ike, tell the people about the perks of becoming a member of the Green Name Game and how they can become one.
It's really easy. You click that join button, you get a chance to have some exclusive content that's just for you. Mostly it's film reviews, a lot of great film to go over from all these transfers that we've had coming in recently. We'll be talking about guys that stayed on the team that didn't transfer out, like just film on top of film, plus basketball film. Plus now the morning drop, we're doing those exclusive for, as far as the live chat exclusive for our members, man. It's great stuff going on right now at the War Report. Click that join button. You can gift a membership to the War Report. Somebody gets a free month of membership on you, just like Tiffany Byers has done already. We appreciate you for doing that, Tiffany. So if you want to do that, somebody can get a free month of membership on you. And if you want to listen to stuff that we've got on podcast, you can do that anywhere that you listen to podcasts. Auburn Express, Uptempo Podcast, College Loop, and Just a Sec Pods are all a part of the War Report Podcast Network.
All right, gentlemen, listen, let's get into it. A lot of news, a lot of stuff we got to talk about today. There's been a lot of portal talk, a lot of portal news, starting with some of the, if you missed the morning drop, I need to go back and check it out. Ike talked about some of the guys who have hit the portal for us, Cam Riley, the linebacker, as well as Donovan Kaufman, who played the star/safety position. Definitely want to check that out. We can kind of talk about that amongst Mike G, B Will, but let's talk about a portal pickup that we had. Former them, in case you guys are wondering, them is what it means. Them. We don't say their name. Former them cornerback transfer Antonio Kite, 6'1", 182 pounds, defensive back, former 4-star out of Anniston, Alabama. He is a redshirt sophomore this year who will reunite with Charles Kelly, who actually recruited him to them, and will have 3 years of eligibility remaining. He is set to enroll for spring practice. Per 247 Sports, he was a top 250 player in the 2022 class and was the number 10 athlete overall and the number 11th ranked recruit in the state of Alabama. Hasn't played a whole lot, but I'm curious to know you guys' thoughts about what does this mean for spring ball, as you have guys like him, Keontae Scott, you have other guys like J.D. Rim, Kayan Lee, even J.C. Hart going to be competing and battling out for the cornerback position. How do we feel about that position group picking up this guy from Alabama for them? Sorry.
Well, you can't start this conversation out without mentioning the fire sale that's going on at Alabama football right now. The portal is
Everything
open.
must go.
Everything must go. So we've been saying it for a long time on this show, fellas, that players commit to coaches over programs. Alabama fans are coming to the realization that this was the University of Nick Saban for a long time. Since 2007, it has been. And now it's got to be the University of Alabama for a little bit until they establish a new identity under their new coach. And, you know, kids are opting out of that. Antonio Kite is coming to Auburn. I think this is a great pickup. Look, Nick Saban talked about how, like, whenever they had, like, he's like, you guys just think we crap another player. I'm using the word crap for the censors here. But
New year, new mic.
Yeah. It's not what he said. But, like, you know, he wanted to emphasize the fact that, look, man, good players are hard to come by. They worked very hard to recruit these guys. And this is a great pickup for Auburn. I think that they were good defenses, but they were not a deep defense. And going out and get a guy like this who has a chance to go through the spring is a great opportunity for Charles Kelly. And I think we still have one more co-defensive coordinator that's going to come in there and, you know, coach this thing with him. But, like, you know, it's a great pickup for them. They've been recruiting at a high level. I don't think it's a stretch to think that he's going to be an important piece moving forward and that he has a chance to contribute. I love the pickup. I think it's great.
Will jump in. Do you see this guy as a potential starter going into fall, or just seeing him getting or competing heavily for one of those starting spots in the spring?
I ain't gonna hold you. I don't know nothing about the young man because I don't follow nobody else's recruiting, so I don't know. He could be amazing. Bama fans are sad that he's gone, so that makes me happy.
Yeah. I saw there was a lot of negative reaction on social media, Ike, to Kite's leaving. But again, they could be just extra sensitive to everything that So-So's leaving. Like the janitor's leaving. They're overreacting right now. There's a lot of sensitivity in Tuscaloosa.
A lot of the Bama fans discovered that the players are just as bandwagon as they are.
Right. Yeah.
It's
like Oregon Trail bandwagon.
It's rough out there when you're not used to, you know, not having. Listen, when the greatest coach that's ever graced a football sideline is in your facility for over a decade, that's a difficult life to adjust to. Like, I don't know what else to say. Mm-hmm. And they're gonna get used to life without him, and we'll see how sweet it is.
Yeah. B Will is here. B Will, your thoughts, man, before we move on to the OC news, running back news. What are your thoughts, sir?
Everything's great. It's so great. I'm having so much fun. I got a very good friend of mine. I follow him on Twitter. He follows me.
You got a friend? We talk.
All my friends are from Alabama, so they're all Alabama fans or Auburn fans. So, he said as soon as whoever it was that left first, I think it was Bond. He said, "Well, we got this guy and Niblack, not Black, whatever his name is, and so. I think we'll be good." So a few hours later, not Black hits the portal. And then he like recalibrates. Well, you know, we got so and so coming back. Kite gonna step up. I think we're gonna be good. And then Kite hits the portal. And earlier that day, he was like, when all these players are hitting the portal, best of luck. He said, if Proctor hits the portal. And then it was like a very negative reaction pick. And that was like 8 hours ago, and then an hour after.
Bounce.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, Proctor hit the portal. Dan.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Man, listen.
Be real quick. Noted Twitter Bama fan Courtney McKinney tweeted, Hayes Fawcett is single-handedly ruining my life.
Yo, it was great.
The graphic dude, like so-and-so is transferring. He was like, yo, I'm going to mute Hayes here in a second.
It's just awesome, man. It's just awesome.
It ain't Hayes' fault. All he doing is making the graphics. He ain't making them transfer.
You definitely shooting the messenger.
And the sour grapes over now something's wrong with football and we need to fix this portal. What? Shut up. It's been like that. People been getting their lunch ate for 4 years. You just now feeling the effects. Welcome to the party.
Yeah,
Welcome to the party.
I would say this. I talked to Ike about this before we started recording earlier today. There is in the couple of group chats I'm in, it is almost comical to listen to Bama fans talk about how the system is broken and how they need to reopen the portal for other teams. So
we
they
didn't get
can
enough time. We didn't get enough time to go get guys because the portal we were still playing. So
no.
and then all of our players left. So we should have additional time, and they should open the portal back up so other people can come to Bama.
I would like to submit to the jury, Ike, that they had a chance to do this earlier in the process than they did. What they did was they gambled that if they announced Saban's retirement after the portal closed, that guys would not have enough time to transfer and get into spring ball, and that they would at least stick out the spring with this new coach, and he would get a whole semester to try to re-recruit them.
Wrong.
It backfired.
But that's not even how the portal works. You get 30 days after he leaves to do like if you wanted to do that, they should have waited until after spring. But you were going to be screwed no matter what.
No what? Yeah,
no matter
what. Yeah.
And Nick Saban don't owe nobody nothing. He gave you 6 championships, a run unlike anything anybody's ever seen. He didn't owe you better timing. He didn't owe you a heads up. That's the game.
This is what happens when you no longer have the cheat code.
Yep. Yeah.
This is what
the
happens.
University of Nick Saban. Is no long. Close the business.
Dave Chappelle voice. It burns, doesn't it? All right. Listen, guys, let's talk about Auburn real quick. Let's get back to Auburn and discussing the offensive staff. The offensive staff is complete. And it as what people have alleged to be for quite some time. Kent Austin has been promoted to QB's coach. He's promoted to being on the field staff. He's no longer an analyst. He will be the QB's coach. Derrick Nix joins the staff as running backs coach / OC, and Hugh Freeze, as expected and as reported, will take over play calling duties. So let's take a look at Derrick Nix. Here's some stats from him. From Ole Miss, been at Ole Miss from 2008 to 2023. He was in 2023. He was associate head coach / wide receiver. From 20 to 22, he was the assistant coach, basically assistant head coach / wide receivers coach. He was the running backs coach for a little bit over a decade, from 08 to 19. Coached alongside Hugh Freeze, coached with Hugh Freeze when he was there. And I think when Hugh Freeze was there during his first stint as, I don't know, it was an assistant or analyst of some sort. They worked together then. So this will be their third time actually working together. He also coached at Southern Miss. This is where he got his first start. He was a defensive grad assistant in 2003 and became running backs coach for the next 2 seasons at Southern Miss. His recruiter, he's known, pretty much respected as a recruiter, gained a lot of 4 stars, too many to name here. But the main 5 stars you see here that are listed below, Jerry and Ely, Tony Connor. How do you pronounce that name? Mr. Perkins.
There you go.
5-star. He's a 5-star. This guy is known as a pretty respectable recruiter. I want to ask you guys this. With the changes that occurred in the offseason to this offensive staff, now the dust settles, and this is who we got. OC, Hugh Freeze calling plays, Kent Austin coaching QBs. Did Hugh Freeze improve this offensive staff over the prior year's staff?
Yes, I'll say it. It is an improved staff because I don't think that you lost a ton in your recruiting efforts with Derrick Nix coming in. And I think you get more synergy around what Coach Hugh Freeze wants to do with his offense. So that equals a better staff. Like most of the offensive issues last year had to do with just people not being on the same page with what the philosophy was going to be. And so I don't think that there's a person on this staff that hasn't worked with Coach Hugh Freeze before now. So everybody should be aligned on what we want to get done and how we want to accomplish those things on the offense. There's no reason why there should be a drop-off from a recruiting standpoint for offensive play call. I mean, from offensive personnel. So, yes, I feel like this is a better staff than last year's staff for this head coach.
I'm going to agree with Ike. And my reasoning will be just based on one thing you said, Ike, and that's that if it's what Hugh Freeze's vision of offense is, then it's an automatic upgrade. The tug of war is part of what made last year's offense not good. So, he cut his cloth as a play caller. If he's getting back to doing that, and then everybody has to get aligned with that vision, based on the numbers, there's nowhere for it to go but up. I just think it's going to be better. You came here. I think everybody wanted to see Hugh Freeze's offense. That's what they wanted to see. And so you make this change at OC. You bring in a guy who's going to be aligned with the vision. And I assume that this alignment is going to involve him being actively involved in every game plan going into every game. And that is an improvement. So from that aspect, I agree with Ike, adding some context that this is definitely going to be an improved staff. I also agree with Ike in that I don't think there's a huge drop-off, if any at all, in terms of recruiting from Lack to Nix.
Okay.
Both great recruiters, both amazing recruiters. But, I don't think you lose a ton there.
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't think there's fall. I agree with you. I don't think there's much of a fall off from a recruiting standpoint at all with this guy. Yeah,
if any.
Again, this guy has worked with Hugh Freeze, and so Hugh Freeze, you already know what Hugh Freeze expects from a recruiting standpoint of his staff members. So for him to go get this guy, he tried to get him last year. I think that's important to note. So this tells you how much Hugh Freeze really wanted this guy. So for him to finally get him, I don't expect much of a drop off, if any, in recruiting. B. Will, your thoughts on terms of this staff? Nix is a recruiter. What are your thoughts?
Well, to what has already been mentioned, yes, when you get somebody in-house who understands exactly what you want to do and is ready to execute your vision as head coach, we can go back and forth about whether or not Hugh Freeze's plan for offense is the best one. But the thing that I can be assured of is that I'm not going to know if what he's doing is going to work unless he actually has the chance to do it. Do exactly what you want to do, not some handcuffed version because this guy doesn't really understand your scheme. So he's got to learn it as a coach. So he's like telling you, but he's like, man, we really should be running it this way. Not that anything like that's happened, but I've been middle management before, and they're like, all right, y'all, we about to start this new protocol. And all my people are like, why are we doing this? Is stupid. I know it's stupid, but we got to do it because the people upstairs wants to do it. Now, I am also a dissenter. I am a natural born dissenter, so I will do that. However, in a football team, you can't have that. Like you can't philosophically have people under you going, well, let's do it this way. And again, I'm not saying that happened, but what I'm saying is everybody down the ladder needs to be on the exact same page about what is about to happen. Hugh Freeze wasn't even on the same page with the guy he gave the responsibility to call the plays to. So he got rid of the people that we assume, all right, you didn't see eye to eye. Philosophically, there was something different. You got to get those people out. You got to get your people in. I had never heard of Derrick Nix before this hiring. And then I'm looking at his resume like, oh. And then I'm realizing he was there under Freeze. I said, oh, I didn't realize that Lane Kiffin came in and kept a lot of people, but apparently he kept enough people. And there's some people there who were still familiar with and loyal to Hugh Freeze. And he got them, Thornton and Nix specifically. Listen, man, build the house in the image with the vision that you imagine the house should be built in. And then we can at least start to judge fairly how good a job you've done as far as, the promises you made with improving the team and improving the offense. But I think this is a positive step just for that reason alone. Now, whether or not it's going to result, listen, Caddy kept us stacked with running backs, stacked. We have not wanted for talent at the running back position. I can't even think of a miss at running back that we've had. Like, honestly, I still think Sean Jackson could go somewhere and start in the conference since Caddy got here.
We've had some misses, but we've also had gets, so it's not like those misses were felt. But yeah. I mean, Caddy did a good job there from a recruiting standpoint. Let's get into this, guys, because you're already heading that direction, B. So let's go ahead and pose the question.
All right.
Now that Hugh Freeze has his guys in it who understands what he wants to do, what do you guys foresee the identity of this offense being moving forward?
I would say this, right? Like, they're still highly dependent on what direction they decide to go at quarterback and who steps up there. We've got some segments. dropping in the next week or so that deal with this particular issue with, where does Auburn go at quarterback? The bowl game created, some stuff, right? Like Hank Brown coming in and playing the way he did, Payne Thorne maybe not playing the way that they wanted him to. After they literally endorsed him for 2024. Holden Geriner having a disappointing showing. I think although limited time, I want to add that caveat, right? Limited time in a game that was kind of getting out of control. But look, man, Hank Brown went into that same game, and you just got to call it what it is. He went out there and he played, and he went 7 for 9. What was it, Ike, for like 180 yards or something like that?
Yes, I don't know.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it was a decent stat. It was enough to turn heads.
Yeah.
So I think it just depends on where they go at quarterback, and if you have a quarterback that can execute the version of this offense that is more consistent with what Hugh Freeze has done in the past. What is that? That's 400 to 450 attempts a season. Payne Thorne had 238, I believe. So they're a long way from a number standpoint from doing what Hugh Freeze is accustomed to doing. What can they do this spring to help Auburn move the needle in that direction? Well, we'll have to see.
Let's Ike, your thoughts. Ike, your thoughts on the what you foresee the identity beginning to take shape in 2024.
I mean, I expect Coach Hugh Freeze to do exactly what he said he was going to do, which is get back into what he cut his teeth on, what made him the offensive guy that people respected around the country, and that is RPO and up tempo. We didn't see that a lot last year. We didn't see a lot of RPO. We didn't see a lot of tempo. I expect that to be back in full force this season, and they're going to be back up in the tops in the country in plays per game and all that kind of thing. Like, I expect to see it next season because there's no reason not to. Again, you've hired a staff that should be, for lack of better words, made in your image. All right, cool. Well, let's roll with it.
Let's see what it works with.
We're going to do what you are adept at doing.
He did make some concerns about in year one being mindful of depth on defense and concerns about that. Do you think that slows him down any from doing that full throttle?
I think they're trying to address that through the portal, right? Like this offseason, the depth piece, right? Getting Keontae Scott to come back. Who was it? Like Cam Riley technically is in the portal right now. And we'll see what happens there. But they had some guys who are really good on defense. Yet the one, they were as good as anybody in the country in my book. Maybe some stand to improve at linebacker. I talked about this earlier this week. At linebacker, you've got some stars coming in. DeMarcus Riddick has fallen down. I think with all the hype around the offensive guys, he quietly might be one of the best recruits in this class, if not the best. I know Cam Coleman is a stud, hands down. But DeMarcus Riddick has a chance to step in here and be good from year one. I think he's that talented.
Been hearing good things about him already.
Oh man, dude, I said this a month ago, and I'm saying it again now. On defense in this class, I would bet the house on DeMarcus Riddick. So Barber is also coming in too, game-saving tackle in the state championship. On another 4-star quarterback was KJ Lacey. It's going out to Texas. You got a lot of smart football players coming on that side of the ball that should allow Charles Kelly and those guys to hit the ground running in terms of the concepts that they want to put in. So I'll be interested to see what it looks like. But you get these guys in the spring, man, and it's amazing. We love strength and conditioning. They're going to get the catch. They get the whole semester to catch up. They're gonna be in the playbook, and you start molding these guys in the image of the type of defense that you're going to want to play. And Auburn will continue to be dangerous on that side of the ball.
What will be the role, since we're talking identity of offense? I'm gonna get you guys to chime in. I'm gonna start with you, B. Running backs. Now that Hugh Freeze has everybody on staff, under Hugh Freeze at Ole Miss with Derrick Nix as his running backs coach, Ole Miss did not have a 1,000-yard rusher. They utilized the running backs very differently at Ole Miss, which is a little different from how Auburn has traditionally utilized running backs. Do we need, even with the talent we have, should we temper our expectations in terms of the stat sheet from our running backs moving forward in this offense?
Oh, that's a great question.
Well, once we get to the point where quarterback, offensive line, and wide receiver is up to snuff, up to Hugh Freeze's standard, then I think yes. Clearly, there was an emphasis on running the ball this past season, but the raw eye test and common sense told you he doesn't trust the quarterback situation. So he's leaning on the run more than he has previously in his career. Now, once Hugh Freeze actually gets the exact talent and the exact level of production, or at least competency that he wants out of those positions, then I think running back probably loses some emphasis here at Auburn. And that's not been what Auburn has been. I mean, we've been a running back school since forever. This would be the first time where running back is not just the most important, or at least not the most consistently excellent position on our offense. This will be the first time, if we indeed do go that direction. But for this coming up year, I think there's a chance we involve the running back just as much, because obviously QB1 at the end of the season wasn't QB1 necessarily after the bowl game. So that's a question mark. You got two guys behind him who don't really have that much of a feel for the game yet. It seems like running back is your most sure thing, and run blocking is probably an easier sell at this point in the game for the offensive line than pass blocking, just based on last year as well with who's coming back. So I think we're going to see a slight continuation of productive running backs, and then it's going to start to trail off once we get the passing game going.
Guys, thoughts on this?
You can go ahead, Mike, since you thought it was a good question. You want to chime in?
Yeah, like what should the expectation of the running game be, right, as we move forward? B said it essentially, right? Like if you don't have what you need at quarterback, it's going to necessitate leaning on another part of the offense to make sure that you're moving, that you're winning games, and that you're competing, right? So, it's TBD. And when you look back in 2016, I believe it was, Ole Miss didn't have a top 50 rusher in the country, like not a guy in the top 50 of rushing in the whole country. Go back to 2015, same thing. Like, I'm going here trying to find the guy on Ole Miss team. Top 50
the QB was a part of the running game.
Yeah.
And it was almost like a committee approach with the running backs after that.
The only caveat I would add is that I think that Hugh Freeze will be consistently working with much better running backs than he has been in the past.
Right.
So knowing that you've upgraded the talent of that position, maybe you feel a little bit more comfortable leaning on those positions. And one of the things that's important for a coach, it's important to evolve as the game evolves.
Sure.
Right. So, is there a reborn Hugh Freeze that believes a little bit more in the run than he has in the past? I think that'll be interesting to watch.
Let's have a petty party real quick, gentlemen. Ike and B lit up like both of y'all lighting up. Let's have a petty party.
Mm-hmm.
Kiffin was in his fields. Fourth and Kiffin. How you feeling, guys? What are your thoughts about old Lane? Lane took some L's this month.
Lost his starting running back and his wide receiver / running back coach that's been at the school for like 16 years. Listen, man, Mike and I actually talked about this as well earlier. I disagree with Mike about Lane trying to shoot the guy a solid. Like, contracts are contracts. Lane Kiffin tweeting something doesn't change contract language. So if it's in the contract, they have to hold him accountable to that. And Lane Kiffin, I'm going to let everybody know. Like, I don't nobody care what you think about the contract. Lane, shut up and go coach a football team, man. Nobody care. Like, I don't care what Lane Kiffin's opinion is on the Derrick Nix contract. I think it is more petty than it is helpful for him to jump out there and do this. It feels like somebody's bitter baby mama sitting there being like,
you baby mama drama.
You compared to a baby.
He might be texting you, but he laid up with me right now with the whole picture. That is what it feels like from Lane Kiffin right now. It's like, bro, like, just
go.
He might be your man, but he's tasting this.
Yeah, like, come on, man. Like, what are we doing out here, man? What are we doing? How old are you, my guy? How old are you?
He at my house.
I'm going to change my whole stance just based on that whole analogy. That's fucking amazing.
I thought we was doing it for the censors, Mike. What happened to
that? Sorry, it was too funny. It was too funny.
You know that wasn't gonna last long.
I'm gonna abandon my whole belief system just based on that amazing analogy.
So I don't know, man. I'm not with it. Like there's a high road, and I don't think that Lane Kiffin has ever had that on his GPS. So
yeah. All I have to add to this before B goes is that this is peak Lane Kiffin. He is consistently this guy. He's going to be this guy. So
that's fair.
This is like I don't think anybody should be surprised that he did this. This is just who he is, right? Like my understanding, though, from people I've talked to, is that him and Nix have a really good relationship. So he understands how Lane moves, and so like I said, if he doesn't feel slighted by it, then I'm not really.
Yeah, if Derrick Nix doesn't feel any way about it, I don't. But at the same time, I still think he's lame for doing it.
Yeah, right. Like, I'm not trying to change anybody's opinion of Lane.
No, you won't.
Right.
Yeah.
I just think it's par for the course for him.
My question to Lane is, did you comb your hair today? B, what are your thoughts, man?
Yeah, Lane, I have a theory. My theory is that I think Lane thought that Saban had another year or two in him, and he was gearing up to create this, we got to go for it now year at Ole Miss to have this, we're going to be in the SEC championship game or win the SEC championship game, make a run in the playoff, and then he would come out of that, Saban would retire, and then he could say, well, Ole Miss, I got you somewhere you never been. Peace out. I'm taking the Bama job, which is why I think he's been increasingly more childish since another coach decided Bama. He was like, I was trying to be an adult so I get that job, but screw it now. It's just over. I didn't get it. I'm stuck here. I'm losing coaches. I'm losing players, which is why we see the reaction. I think Lane wanted that job, and maybe he would have had a shot. Kalen DeBoer? He has pretty much gotten this look off of this 1 year. Yeah. He made it to the national championship game. He won his conference. He went undefeated. One excellent year has given him this opportunity at Bama. It's not that he couldn't have been an excellent coach otherwise, but an undefeated year and a natty berth is proof, especially following the record that he's had leading up to this point. I think Lane was trying to put something like that together and get the nod, but it's all right, Lane. It's all right, buddy. You'll be all right.
No, it's listen, Greg McElroy was like, it ain't happening.
I don't think he really had that shot because they are.
He said it was never happening.
He's a child.
I respect Greg too.
Greg, it ain't happening. So, for sure. Anyways, guys, good talk. We will see. We have a lot to talk about as the off season unfolds, heading into spring ball for sure. We will continue to talk about this staff, Derrick Nix, and we'll keep you posted here, guys. But we're about to switch gears, talk about Auburn basketball. They're about to take the court in a little under 30 minutes, but please be sure to share this video, smash that like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel. Let's pause to pay some bills, and we will be back to take your chats as well as talk b-ball.
This edition of the War Report is brought to you by our generous sponsors. The Opelika Rage Room in Opelika, Alabama. The Rage Room is a place where anger and stress find their ultimate release. Call or text 334-777-6688 to set up a session today, or check them out online at opelikaRageRoom.com. Golden's Cast Iron. Whether you work out, grill out, or chill out, you deserve the best life possible, and Golden's Cast Iron is here to provide the tools to help you do it. Check them out at goldenscastiron.com.
Thank you, as always, to the sponsors of the War Report. Thank you to those of you who have signed up for memberships. You can do that and get on board with the Green Name Gang. Got a lot of perks for you guys, as you see right there on the screen. And we appreciate everybody who continues to gift memberships. We've had a couple of people do that during the show. Of course, Tiffany Byers went and did it again and gave some more memberships away. Auburn Dad gifted some memberships. Franklin came out here and gifted memberships. Thank you to all of you who continue to help grow this War Report community. And then once again, make sure you tap in with the network, the War Report Podcast Network. If you want to listen to audio versions of our content, or maybe you missed something and you want to be able to catch it while you're riding around in your vehicle or taking a shower, whatever you do, I don't know, wherever you want to be, War Report Podcast Network, wherever you listen to podcasts, we are there.
Otis Smith, appreciate you, man. It says, and we just signed Kite. Woo, 2024 season. Hurry up.
Yeah, if we didn't get in on the Bama fire sale, I would have been disappointed. Yeah.
Definitely
I
had to
wouldn't
be
have
there.
been. I mean,
Yeah, I don't know. Just to be petty, you got to get a little
Okay,
piece of
okay.
that,
Yeah,
right?
okay.
You got to get a little piece of that.
but I
For
only
sure.
wanted if it's players that they really didn't want to lose. You know what I'm saying? There's a couple
got-
guys that were like,
got-
Hey, it won't lose kite.
They won't
they
lose
did.
Kite.
They were looking forward to him contributing coming up this year.
Caleb Downs would have just been like, oof.
No.
Yeah, that would have hurt.
He hasn't committed yet. He hasn't committed yet, right?
Yeah, but it's
No,
not
it's. I'm hearing
Looking
it's
like
not us.
Georgia,
It's
Ohio
Georgia.
State is
Yeah.
supposedly the two-man race.
Oda Smith comes back and says it's kind of fitting. It's been freezing all week, and we've landed massive transfers and coaches. War Eagle.
2 freeze warnings. It has been cold as hell.
Yes, it has.
I can't believe how cold it's been. There were reports of snow in Columbus yesterday, and I was like, "It's snowing in Alabama. Like the world is out of balance."
Yeah,
That's
it
crazy.
happens every once in a while, but this was more of a dust. It's just the cold weather. I think is really what the story was here. B. Will's forehead says watching Bama implode and Lane get mad is soothing.
Man, it's fantastic. This has been
Food
the
for
most,
soul.
it's just so much peace for me. It's so peaceful watching them be upset, them realizing that it's 2024 and this has been college football for like 5 years and they're just getting here. Like it really does a lot for me. I'm really enjoying myself. Really.
Good, B. Bankroll Blockade says, I'm driving around my city and my dad points out a huge Auburn 18-wheeler. I look on the side and see a War Report logo. That boy Jazzy be everywhere.
Hey, he's
Jazzy.
Hey, all right.
That's right.
My man Jazzy. Auburn Dad for Life says, War Eagle, I'm back. Sorry, been busy in
In real life.
real life right now. But by the way, I miss my fan. We miss you too.
Hey,
Good to have
I'm
you
glad
here.
to see you back in here.
Oda says B Will is 100% hot boxing, and I'm here for it.
hot boxing. That's funny.
I'm not sure exactly what you mean by hot boxing. Because that can mean one of two different things.
Oh no, we're not going
Yeah.
there. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on, B. Come on.
Okay.
He says 100%.
Like Rogue Shop, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Hot
Our
boxing.
boy John says continuity while you were talking, B, about the state.
Hey, that's right. Continuity. That's right. Consistency.
Corey Dub says, how we feeling about the possibility of DJ Durkin?
I think it's a good hire. I mean, it doesn't come without its controversy, of course.
Yeah, but
he's a good DC though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Great
okay,
mind.
I like it because he is diametrically opposed to Lane Kiffin, as opposed to Chris Kiffin, who is like genetically related to Lane Kiffin. So if I got to choose in DC between an opposition to or genetically related to, I'm gonna go diametrically. I want somebody who's in opposition to Lane Kiffin. So I wouldn't mind Durkin for that. I still like Arnett though. I really like Arnett as a pick, but I don't have any qualms against DJ Durkin.
I like the fact that we do have some good options out there. I think that's good to know. Oda Smith says Chronicles of Riddick Chapter 1 comes out August 25th, 2024. The best recruit of the 24 class, in my opinion.
New merch.
I like that. I like
Because of
that.
Riddick.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
I like that. Oda Smith comes back and says, I wish Coach Hugh Freeze would allow a squad of Marine Raiders to come give the most iconic soul-snatching how to destroy your enemy with force and nothing but Reaper intentions speech this team has ever had. What an amazing adjective.
That whole
Only a
Describe-
Marine would come up with
Wow.
that as yes.
soul snatching.
real.
How to destroy your enemy with force. Okay.
I know who I would add. I know
Oda.
what I would invite to come give that speech to Oda. My man Oda. So Stuart Donald says, I read a quote from Saban today about Kite where he predicted he would be a top 10 draft choice one day.
Well, coach is gonna say nice thing about the players they got.
Top 10
So, I
draft
mean,
pick is high praise though. That's one thing
It
about
is.
saying he'll be a pro one day.
Yeah. Coming from Saban, that's a
Not
known great evaluator of talent. That's pretty incredible.
To,
praise.
like I said, to say this guy's going to be a pro one day, he's going to be playing on Sundays. To say he'll be a top 10 draft pick that's a different level of praise.
That would underscore why the Bama fan contingent was so upset about Kite.
Maybe this is the whole reason why they had read this quote. And it's
Yeah.
like, Saban loves him.
no, top 10. Go. Yep.
Yep, you gone.
He gone.
Well, I mean,
Jonathan,
it obviously doesn't work anymore because he's not in a Bama uniform, so he doesn't get the draft bump automatically from just Wick.
That's what it was. That's what it was. Got it. Jonathan Boyson just gifted some 5 War Report memberships. Thank you, good sir.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Gentlemen, let's talk Auburn basketball. Auburn basketball is hot right now. One of the hottest teams in college basketball, in the top 15. They go on the road to Vanderbilt. Ike, is this a trap game? Should we be concerned about Auburn basketball? Last time they were there, they did drop a game there. So is this a potential trap game?
Yeah, I mean, I think any game in the SEC is a potential trap game just because there's not, any teams that are bad in this league. There are some teams that have bad nights, but I mean, I'm sitting here watching LSU losing right now to beating, Ole Miss right now. We just dusted LSU pretty well. It's really an any given night type of conference.
Ole Miss kind of they kind of, they had a pretty soft out of
They
conference.
did, but still, I mean, I would say that
LSU
did too, right? Like, so it's not, if this was like a hotly, I mean, it's down to like 6 now, but LSU was really winning this game by 13 just a minute ago. So I think it's going to be interesting. Coach Pearl talked about this game saying that what they're going to want to do is slow the pace of the game down. Vandy's going to want to limit the number of possessions you get. So you've got to take good shots, and they're going to be very patient on offense and not rush stuff, and they're going to make you expend as much clock as they can. So I think that's opposed to what Auburn wants to do, right? So Auburn wants to get up and down the floor, force turnovers, early offense, all that sort of thing. So it's just a style clash, and whoever style wins should be the one that comes out victorious. But this is going to be a good test for Auburn to play a team that wants to play a very different style. Texas A&M wants to slow you down, but they're really kind of a rough it up type. Vanderbilt's not like that, right? Like they're precise. So it's going to be interesting to see how Auburn deals with the precision of what Vandy wants to be able to accomplish. But should be a win, but we'll see.
In a game like this, where you have your opponent trying to slow you down, how important is it for Janai Broome to assert himself early in this game? Mike?
Look, Janai Broome obviously was one of the more heralded pieces coming back. He went and he showed out in the development league or the pre-draft kind of thing that they did. And, when he's playing, Auburn's hard to beat. Hear me out. When Janai Broome is on his game, Auburn is really, really difficult to beat. I think just for the sake of consistency, keeping him rolling and he's added the 3-point shot to his game. They're consistently letting him shoot 3 to 4 a game. He's knocking down 2 of them, pretty consistently. And when he can get that little kind of like jump hook thing he's working on, some nights it falls, some nights it doesn't, right? Like if he can start hitting that more consistently in the kind of the low post game that he's putting together, Janai Broome, like if he can get it going, they can really sustain an epic run through SEC play. Now, from a shooting standpoint, they've got enough shooting around him, I think, that he doesn't have to carry the team in that way. But tonight, what I'm looking for is just can he continue to do the little things that he's been doing well, night in and night out, even against an opponent that may not be very heralded or this isn't like a marquee matchup. But sometimes these games tell you more about where your team is at mentally than even the big games do. So that's what I'm looking for Janai Broome. It's just consistency in the little things. Continue to bring energy, and work on those parts of his game that he's been working really hard in the offseason to develop. I think he's done a great job so far. I still think this is Bruce Pearl's best team since he's been at Auburn. I think at the end of the season, we'll look back on it and say, I think they make the Elite Eight. I think they're an Elite Eight squad. We'll see if they go beyond that. But I think this team makes the Elite Eight, gets a high seed, and by the end of the season, we're talking about them in the annals of Auburn basketball greatness.
High praise there.
Yeah, I like what all these guys are developing. Everybody looks like they're progressing.
Yeah.
to me.
Who have you been most impressed with on this team so far?
Chad Baker-Mazara.
Yeah. Good
Defense, energy. When they said we were getting a JUCO guy, I heard the offseason. I had never heard his name before. And guys are not in JUCO because they can't play. Okay. Guys are in JUCO usually because they had some eligibility issue, whether it was academic or otherwise. So they go to JUCO. You iron it out. You serve your time. I mean, we watch Hard Knocks, right? So we know kids go there. They had D1 potential, but you go to JUCO to get yourself straight. And then I saw that he had played for San Diego State. I was like, oh, this is a Bruce dude. San Diego State is like, we're going to score 55 and win. So that means you're going to fit right in here because defense that's the MO. That's how we play. Effort, defense, rebounding, scrappy. Somebody liking him to KD, honestly, it's a good comparison as far as the energy and the intensity, but his length allows him to be effective rebounding, defending, and shooting. Like, man, come on, man. It's not a lot of these guys around. It's like a 3-and-D plus a little bit more. He's a very well-rounded player. And the size that we lost, not that we lost, we had a size issue last year because Chris Moore was basically our biggest threat to rebound down there along with Janai, but Janai wasn't like the greatest rebounder. So it's like Chris Moore's like, what, 6'4" or something? Like, yeah, but he's not really built to be down there banging like Chad Baker-Mazara. And Chris Moore is also not tall enough to consistently block shots. He's a great team defender, but he is not a shot blocker. This was, I think, one of the most important missing pieces. Alongside, of course, we talked about Cardwell getting better and Janai getting better. And Jay Will finally feeling like he has the confidence to complement the frame and the skill set that he has. This was the missing piece. This is how you get to a 10-man rotation that you can trust, because no matter who I put on and take off the floor, I've got somebody that can rebound and somebody that can defend the perimeter very well. We know that Alan Flanagan had his ups and downs at that 3, and sometimes he may have played the 4, but really it's that he could defend the perimeter, but his shooting was inconsistent, and he wanted the ball. He wanted the opportunity to be a premier scorer, but he wasn't necessarily good at it. Chad Baker-Mazara doesn't need the opportunity to be a premier scorer, put the ball in his hands and drive to the hoop. He's going to get in where he fits in on offense, and on defense, he's going to be an incredible effort guy and energy guy. That's been the most important part, which is it's by a very slim margin, because I think everybody has improved who was here last year, and you see a lot of quality minutes from so many players, but that's the Chad Baker-Mazara. He's been the most impressive one to me.
ESPN's analytics gives Auburn a 92.9% chance of winning tonight. 92. They feel pretty good about Auburn. Ike, what do you expect to see out of Auburn tonight to secure the victory? What does Auburn need to do for sure?
I mean, I think if they're just consistent in their ability to take care of the basketball, they'll be fine. I think the problem that Auburn gets into is just carelessness at certain points, and that gets them in trouble in a lot of instances. If they take care of the basketball, they should be okay, just because there's so many different people that can come in and score. They've got, again, an offense that's not really going to try to be high-powered with you, and I believe that this Auburn team can win an ugly game, and I think, Vanderbilt's going to want to make this ugly, but the turnovers are going to be a big thing. If they can keep that turnover ratio where they want it to be, which is like 2 or 3 to 1, then they should be fine.
Yeah. Do they play well generally at Vanderbilt? I know you went to a couple of games and sat in that weird upper deck section they had.
Not lately. They haven't played very well.
Okay. Yeah, it was a forgettable experience up there.
This team's different.
Yeah. And that's another thing, Ike, is that usually when you see you'll see when Auburn gets careless with the ball, or they go through a period where they're making poor shots, is usually when the game is almost out of hand. And we've seen this happen. I think I've seen it happen twice this year where they're in control of the game, but they'll go through a period where, and it happened with the LSU game, is that they'll go through a period where they're making poor shots, and it just so happened LSU caught fire during that and really sliced our lead up. Is that if Auburn
I don't
can,
think Vandy can score like that in bunches.
so if Auburn gets up, it's pretty much they're off to the races, you think?
Well, I mean, what they're going to do though is they're going to try to walk you down more slowly.
Okay.
So, it's going to be a situation where like, you might have a 12-point lead and there's 12 minutes left in the game. And then, you come down there and you take a bad shot and then they'll come down there and they'll execute what they need to do and they'll make a bucket. And you come down there and take another bad shot, they'll execute and make a bucket. And, you look up and it's probably not going to be as quick, right? It's not going to be within the span of 2 or 3 minutes, but, 4 minutes left in the game, that 12-point lead is down to 4, right? Because they're slowly walking you down. But that's the benefit and the detriment of them is like they don't panic, so they can walk you down, but they also don't score in bunches, so it makes you have more time to get your stuff together. But they will absolutely, they're well coached and they're not as talented, but they're well coached and they have some pretty good guard play. And, when you have good guard play, you can pretty much be in whatever game.
Yeah, I would like to point out in the 2017-2018 season, Auburn led the SEC in free throw shooting, and free throws made, and free throw percentage, I should say. Right. This year, that's 77%. This year they're at 76%. And they're like 4th in the conference right now, but they're actually doing really well from the free throw line. It is such an underrated stat when you're watching basketball. Sometimes when a team is shooting free throws, poorly. I tweeted it out during the women's game versus LSU. They were, I don't know if you had noticed, but they were missing like half of their free throws early in the game, and it just felt like, ooh, if this one's tight down the stretch, this is going to come back to bite them. And in a game that they lost by 5 points, and they missed almost 10 free throws, 9 or 10 free throws, it mattered. It ended up mattering. This team is helping keep the door shut on other teams by not missing free throws. Going to the line, knock them down, and then not letting them creep back into games because you're getting fouled and going to the line, but missing those free throws. So underrated, an underrated stat here. Again, this is one of their best free throw shooting percentage so far this year in the last few years.
And this is just Auburn's 3rd road game. So I'm really curious to see just who is this Auburn team. We lost the first one to App State.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Second game.
Point too. Yeah. The road
quad
Auburn,
one.
We'll
it was
see
a quad one.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've lost both. I cannot look at this. They lost both quad ones that they played so far. So they're 0-2 in terms of quad one games.
So I'm curious to see what type of Auburn team this is on the road and how we actually look on the road. This should give us a good idea in game 3. Who we got? Obviously, I'm going Auburn here. I got Auburn winning, improving to 4-0. How close of a game is this? Do we end up having to pop a gummy tonight?
Nah, man, they're gonna score a lot of points. Right now, so far in conference, Auburn is averaging 84.1 points per game. I'd be shocked if they go below their average tonight. Alabama leads the conference at 90.2 points per game. So, like I said, Kentucky leads at 90.8. And then Florida's the only other team in front of Auburn right now, 85. I just think if they hit their averages, they win this one by 10 or more.
Yeah.
Good stuff, gentlemen. Good stuff, gentlemen. We will definitely see Auburn takes the court in just a few minutes. Let's grab some super chats and comments from you guys, and we'll get ready to get out of here. Oda Smith says, I don't know how many zeros that is, but he would give a lot to give that speech on my soul.
Start practicing. You never know when you'll be called up to the bigs. Practice that speech, Oda.
Oda says Lane is a 12-year-old trapped in a grown man's body.
What was that movie back in the day? Was it called Big?
Tom Hanks.
Yes. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Is that a kid from Big?
Oh man, Daniel Moultrie says y'all see the Ole Miss fans on Twitter saying Ole Miss is a top 5 job in the country. They are reaching the heights of delusional.
I'll tell you, there's a contingent of Ole Miss fans that think that Auburn fans think that the Auburn is more than what it is, and there's certainly a contingent of Ole Miss fans that think that their job is more than what it is. Well, I mean, you can win at Ole Miss. it is possible to have a good season at Ole Miss, right? Like, can you
a
win
good season. Oh, okay.
Yeah, like can you win consistently? Obviously, they never won the conference, so we haven't seen it. But top 5, that's a stretch. I'm sorry. Like, I mean, to be a top 5 school, you got to have like okay, controversial statement incoming. Hear me out. Bama is not a top 5 job in the country.
Very controversial.
Bama's not a top 5 job.
That's very.
It's not a top 5 job, right?
Okay.
Saban was an all-time coach that fooled everybody into thinking that was a great job. Remember the shit show Bama was before Saban got there.
Oh yeah, remember.
You needed somebody who can come in and tame the boosters. Hard to do. Saban did it. He said, "Write your checks, sit down, and shut up and let me do this thing." Yeah. This Kalen guy, he ain't doing that. He's going to dance to a beat unless he can produce a championship in year 2. This job is a nightmare for anybody following Saban. Definitely not a top 5 job.
Fortunately for him, he doesn't even have to follow Saban. Saban's right upstairs.
Right, yeah. He's still yeah. The shadow is
follow him to the coffee
building.
pot.
Yeah, right.
I mean, that to be honest, that might help him. That might help him because you don't have to tame the boosters with Saban's like, hey man, just get off his back and give him a minute.
We'll see how
and that'll help him out.
Yeah, maybe.
How does he sound? How does he sound, B? Do it again.
Just wait, get off his back and give him a minute. Everybody just calm down here.
He's pouring his coffee and Saban stand up like, that's not how I would do that. Did you see these rings? And he's like,
If anybody knows how difficult Saban can be, how Alabama can be, it is Saban. I think he'll try to help more than tank. Because I mean, I don't think Saban wants to watch the thing crumble. He just spent 17 years building it up, so he doesn't want to do it anymore. But he doesn't want to watch it fall apart. But as far as Ole Miss being a top 5 job, that's absolutely
really ridiculous.
People confuse the results that a coach can get at a moment in time with the quality of the job. The best college football job in the country is LSU.
Yes.
Regardless of who the coach 100%. Is, they keep recruiting at the same level. Brian Kelly, old square ass, came in there still recruiting good. Ed Orgeron off his rocker, crazy, recruited well, national championship. Les Miles was violating all type of rules. Eating grass. National championship and another. It doesn't matter who the coach is there. You are going to get the support and the talent to win the ship. That's the best job. Ole Miss is only good right now because of Lane Kiffin's profile. That is it. It is not a good job.
Woo! You just cooked the whole 7-course meal on that one, B. We just became soulmates.
Thank you.
That was amazing. That was amazing.
Soulmates.
LSU is the best job in the country. I would agree.
Stephen Neely says, how many players go in the NBA draft?
Ooh,
how many of our players?
Yeah, I think it was asking. Is Jalen Williams a draft pick now? I think Jalen Williams is bordering on the draft pick.
Yes,
bordering on the draft pick. Yeah,
second round. I can see second round.
I can see him going second round for sure.
Yeah, he's added the 3-point shot. Like he's got a nice low post. I don't know, man. I think Jalen is draftable. That's some good size.
2.
Yeah, I about to say 2 is probably. I mean, if you're saying will ever get drafted, but are you saying this season? Because the only guys who I would see going to the draft is Janai and Jalen Will, and
I mean,
maybe
Caldwell's going to try to go,
but I don't think he's going to get drafted. Shoot, he's playing well right now though. But yeah, I'll say 2.
I'm gonna go with 2 there as well. Oda Kazan is he's Green Name Gang. Let him live. Damian Prentice says, can we get an everything must go shirt?
Yeah.
I like that.
Everything must go. The fire sale.
I like that.
The Tuscaloosa fire sale. Bargain shopping. The
thrift
store.
They all gone. Shop. Maybe a they all gone shirt.
Everybody gone. Everybody gone. Well, where did they go? T-shirt.
That's funny. I wish I could use the Alabama A for that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that would be perfect.
All gone with the Alabama A.
You can make it. You just can't sell it.
Oh shoot!
You know what's gonna be real funny? The first time that Alabama is in a situation where their season record is like they're borderline in the playoff, and then they don't get that preferential treatment because Nick Saban ain't there. Woo, buddy. That's gonna be
give them the
best.
Florida State treatment. Well, you're a different team without your coach. So
Man,
you're just
that's
not
gonna
the
be
best version
fantastic.
of yourself. We're going to have to leave you out of this one.
Good stuff, man. Do y'all have any closing thoughts before we close, man? Auburn's about to come on.
Support Auburn women's basketball, guys.
Yep,
I didn't get a chance to say this, but Coach Jay gave an impassioned plea to the fans. She said they're working their butts off, for this school, for this university, and for you, and they deserve the same support that they got tonight. 7,700 was the attendance for a women's basketball game against LSU. And if you showed up and you bought a ticket, they did not disappoint.
Right.
And I just think it is important that if you're going to call yourself an everything school, that you show up not only for football and men's basketball, but for women's basketball as well, too. Yeah, I'm not decrying it. We're talking about women's basketball. Obviously, all the sports deserve support. But, boy, those girls got something special cooking. And the atmosphere at Neville, guys, can make the difference. It was loud. It was hostile for LSU in there. It was a tournament environment created by the rowdiest student section in the country. They were screaming. I mean, they were doing everything they could to throw LSU off their game. And LSU showed up with a crowd, too.
Yeah.
It was impressive. And the louder they got, the louder Auburn fans got.
Yeah.
Show up and support these girls, man. They shouldn't. We should not always have to make them earn it. Earn the support.
Right.
Yeah, I get it. For people to go consistently, you need to win. I do. But I had people tell me before the season started that they thought Coach Jay was going to get fired. And that she was not good. And someone told Ike that the team had not progressed since she got there. And we're like, what are you watching?
Right. That's crazy.
Yeah, it was not good before.
They won 0 SEC games the year before she took over. 2 in year 1, 5 in year 2. I still think they can go 500 in conference in year 3. Give them the support and watch what they give back to you. Honesty Scott Grayson, superstar. Taylor Scott, amazing.
Collins, but yeah.
Yeah, you got me. I always for Celia. What's Celia's last name? Sumbane. Great player. Savannah Scott. These girls are busting their ass for you guys. Give them the support, man. And I'm telling you, Auburn has 2 tournament teams on campus this year. 2. They deserve the support. And if you get a chance, if you're in the area and you get a chance to buy a ticket to an Auburn women's basketball game, I implore you to go. It's just as amazing as an experience as going to a men's game. It is. These girls can shoot. Jemiah Mingo Young, leader. Amazing energy. They got amazing people. They've recruited well, and they're one superstar player away from being an Elite 18. One. Rakia Jackson, the girl who shredded Auburn up against Tennessee. 24 points, 19 rebounds, was it, Ike?
Yep.
She could have been an Auburn Tiger. But they didn't get the same support, man. Give these girls the support, dude. I'm telling you, I'm excited to see what they're building there. I think it's going to be great, and I think that the fans need to show up and have the same enthusiasm that they do for football and men's basketball. They deserve it.
Well said, sir. Well said, sir. Ike, tell the people how they can get a green name and what they should expect that green name.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, man, we got a lot of film review to do, and if you get the green name, you get access to that stuff, plus a lot of just member-only content that we're doing just for you all with member-only chats. You can gift a membership to somebody if you are already a member, and they will get the benefit of 1 month of free membership on you. You can listen to all of the network here on the War Report Podcast Network, wherever you listen to them. So you can download or put your notifications on for the Auburn Express, Uptempo Podcast, the College Loop, and Just a Sec Podcast, all of those things. And then, you know what I'm saying, don't forget that in case you have a friend who is a Bama fan and they need to calm down, send them to the Rogue Shop and use code RAPPORT when you do that, and that'll get them a little something off of their purchase. They're going through it. It's okay. Give them a little aid. Maybe send them to the Rage Room or something like that too.
The Rage Room.
That'll work.
Y'all, breaking news here. Diego Pavia, the New Mexico quarterback, just signed to Vanderbilt. We got to see him next
We got to see
season.
him again. Oh, no. I mean, his coach went there. That's right. His coach is like an analyst there.
Yeah, all right. Pavia is coming back. All right.
Oh,
All right. Love it. Thank you, B, for that nugget. That was amazing. You're amazing.
now I'm worried.
So now I'm worried.
I've been coming to Jordan Hill like, man.
I've been here before. Like Thanos putting the glove back on.
Run, dread it. Run from it. Destiny arrives all the same.
I am
Pavia.
inevitable.
Oh, shoot.
God dog it. All right, y'all. Listen. Well, on that note, share this. Share this everywhere where you can share it. Social media, group chats, message boards. Smash that like button. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. We're on X, IG at The War Report. We're also on TikTok as TW Report. That's it for now, guys. We will see you with the morning drop on Friday. Enjoy the game tonight. And as always,
Where you go?
Hey, hey, hey.